Okay, so it's a new week, new Grandmaster, and we have Birthplace of the Vile. So this one, as close to brand new as we can get. So it's been out once before, only, like on the same season where Witch Queen was released, and that's the only time we've seen it in Grandmaster until like this week. I mean, unless you had Conqueror, so you could do it like when Grandmasters was released a few weeks ago, but blah blah blah, doesn't matter. What I'm meaning to say is it's new. It's new for me anyways. It's still shiny. It's only been out once before. It's like interesting, not the same old same old. It's not like running the arms dealer over and over and over again because it's so goddamn easy. No. So this one, it's really fun actually for me. So this guide, dedicated for solo players mostly, but of course, just like all the other ones, I will throw in certain sections where I feel like there's something specific to say when you're in a team, like the boss room. All boss rooms, how you play solo and how you play in a team's almost always different. And then same with some of the key checkpoints in any Grandmaster Nightfall is when you're in a team, you want to do stuff a little bit differently. So I will kind of pause off the solo play and talk about team play a little bit in those scenarios, but mostly this is for solo play. Now, for some reason this season, I'm into the void builds again. I think it's just the volatile explosions, all that crap is like super satisfying to me lately. So this one's perfect because Birthplace of the Vile is a void burn. So yay, yay. Plus, we also have things like overloads and unstoppables. So overloads this season with the artifact mod is we got that Lord Kelvin's Basilisk, and which stuns overloads with your void grenades. Perfect. It's perfect for this one. And other than that, for loadouts, I mean, there's tons of different things you can use. I know some people do guides where it's like, you have to use this, you have to use this, your friends have to run this, otherwise you don't get it done. It's kind of what they make it sound like. That's not the case for anything. You can run whatever you want, as long as it makes sense for you. And if you're comfy using whatever loadout you're using, you're going to play better with that anyways, is my feeling. Bungie, like I said before, Bungie does a fine job telling us what to run depending on whatever meta they decided to make for the season and whatever artifact mods are in season. You don't need some random guy who's just a casual player who's not even the best. I'm no elite by any means, but you definitely don't need me telling you what to run. So saying that though, I don't mind mentioning a few ideas maybe if you are a little undecided on what to run. So there's overloads and unstoppables and a void burn. So obviously heavy for void, right? Why not take advantage of that void burn? That's great. Now you can run a rocket, which is totally cool. If you're into rockets, that's good. For me personally though, not my favorite, especially in the boss room. You can only hold so many rockets. It's not lots, and there's just way too big of a risk in my opinion in the boss room running out of heavy, and you still you're only halfway done that specific damage phase. So I love linears, especially for this one. The boss is a little twitchy sometimes, a little bit hard to hit the crit spot, but for the most part, I think just the animal economy and the damage you're getting from linears, it's too good to pass up on. Now, Birthplace of the Vile has overload champions in there, so you can either run a submachine gun, a scout, a grenade using Lord Kelvin's Basilisk if you're using a void subclass, or an exotic like Luminarch. Luminarch, it's void, does overloads. It's actually really good in this one. You can it's great at killing ads too. You can kind of shoot one and it kills basically any red bar easily, plus it's doing the overloads. It's not bad at all. Honestly, you might enjoy it a lot, so try it if you're not sure what to run. And then unstoppables, right? You have a choice. It's either grenade launcher or hand cannon, basically, unless you're running arc or stasis. So up to you. If you want to play from a distance and super casual, maybe you want to go the hand cannon route just to be able to stun them from super far away. Well, let's be honest, you're probably going to use the grenade launcher for unstoppables, right? So Wither Horde, it's a great choice. Blinding grenades, not a bad choice, especially in the boss room if you want to just have a little bit of extra safety or extra insurance there in the boss room. Not a bad choice either. Or maybe you want to go with an exotic like Dead Messenger, switch it to the void setting. It has that super wide area of effect wave going out. It's great in the boss room, honestly, for cleaning up the ads super fast. Not a bad choice at all. So up to you. Now, get into the actual strike. So when you first get in, you're zooming into the first encounter, I guess. You might, in the public area, run into a few ads. They might kill you. It might be funny. That's okay. You just started. Just restart. Now, the first proper checkpoint, or the first champions you're going to run into, is just kind of on this cliff bridge here. You're going to run into 2 overloads. Now, the first one's going to spawn with the first group of ads, and it's going to spawn a couple different places. So just be ready for that. It might spawn right up in your face first thing, in the middle, or at the far back. So wherever you see him, if you happen to have grenades that stun them, just lock them down and just start clearing up ads as fast as you can. Now, the next overload is gonna be on the far side, but he's gonna immediately after spawning jump to your side wherever you're at. That's cool too, I guess. So just be ready for him. Now, you have a couple options here. You can get like right up in their face and dirty about it, or you know, if you're solo and just being casual about it, you can like run way back. You can run as far back as you want, and you'll only push so far. But farther away you are, the safer it might be. You know, he's got his buddies there with the torches that want to smack you in the face. So up to you. Either right up in their face, try to blow them off the edge with, you know, explosions and volatile rounds, or from a distance. Just watch out for their lanterns, of course. Now, as soon as you jump from there, you're going to see a bunch of ads and like a captain mini boss spawning in. Now, take note of, if you see here where the animation is of them spawning in, the biggest animation where it looks like the biggest group of ads is going to spawn in. That's where the unstoppable is going to spawn in. So if you're using something like Wither Horde, you can shoot it before they even spawn in, stun them right off the bat. All the snipers are going to be around with them. And if you throw a grenade, if you're lucky, you'll kill them too at the same time. But if not, just note that all the snipers are going to run to the far back of the room. So if you're pushing from kind of the main front, they might end up sniping you, but no worries, you can run around this side on the right hand side here where it's like totally safe and get a drop on the snipers. So if you don't kill the snipers right off the bat, run around this ledge right here. You can see the snipers there, you can take them out there, and then you can worry about cleaning up kind of the mini boss and unstoppable if he's still left, and so on and so on. So by now, if you're solo, for sure you've probably you've gotten your super by now for sure, and I would hope that your super has something to do with capturing these plates. So I didn't mention that before, but I'm going to mention it now. Capturing these plates, there's two ways you can do it, and probably it doesn't hurt if your super is kind of picked for this purpose, but it doesn't have to be, because there's a couple ways to do it, like I'm going to talk about right now. So one is like the just get in there and get dirty way of doing it, where you're just going to struggle through it. Now, obviously, to capture this plate, you have to be standing on the plate. Now, when you're solo, for sure, and I'm pretty sure it's the same when you're not solo, but you have to be on there for a solid 30 seconds for it to work. Now, luckily, unlike in Site Terminus, it doesn't reset when an enemy gets on there. It doesn't reset when you run away. It's just a total of 30 seconds. So you can get on, get off, get on, get off, until you have 30 seconds total standing on this plate, and then it will finish. Now, you can stay on this the whole time. Ads are going to be spawning in the whole time, and you'll have to deal with them. So if you have a super like right here, you see I'm using my bubble, and I'm just running in and out, because I can still die in the bubble from the exploders, but when I run in, run out, my overshield resets, and I'm pretty safe. Plus, I got volatile rounds healing me. So that's my method of doing this. If you're unsure on what method you want to do for this, you can always do it the slow way. Now, the slow way is get on the plate, activate it, and then run away. And just let all the ads spawn, all the enemies spawn, and just kill them all off. There's going to be a total of 7 waves of enemies total. That's it. So it won't take forever, like a couple minutes, maybe, tops. Just watch out for their grenades. The grenades are like super deadly because of the void burn. But you have a couple options. One, you can do it the fast, hard way, or you can do it the super casual, easy way, where you just clean up all the ads. When the ads are cleaned up, you just, in peace, activate the plate, and you're good to move on to the next section. So totally up to you. Now, this is one of those things where if you're playing with a team and you just want an easy method of doing it, what I like to do personally anyways when we're doing it with me and my team is we'll split up and we'll just have one person go on top of the left-hand door right here. On the left-hand side, we'll have one person go on top of the right-hand door, and then one person on the plate. So the person that's on the plate is just the person with whatever super is more applicable to it. Or if we have a hunter, you know, that can just go invis on the plate, that's easy. Now, keep in mind that the enemy spawning is a little bit random, so you don't know which doorway is going to get all the ads in front of them or underneath. Just, again, keep in mind, watch out for grenades, of course. But for us on a team, works every time. Super simple, gets it done super fast. And again, as a team, though, you can just take it easy if you want to and just clean up all the ads first and then do the plate. So this next part, pretty simple. Obviously, watch out for grenades entering this area. There's some guys that are basically sharpshooters, but they're shooting void, so it hurts quite a bit on the left-hand cliff there. Take your time with this. Clear out the guys on the left side is preferably, and then you can kill the unstoppable that's hanging out with that overload way at the far end. preferably from a distance if you want to do it casually, but by all means you can push up and do it like right up close too. Like, it's totally up to you. Just take the low ground, use the stairs as an advantage there. Just watch out with the overload. He might spawn a lantern that'll make everything immune, so if you don't take out the unstoppable first before you get there, just be ready for that little hiccup there. If he makes the unstoppable immune and then the unstoppable charges you, you might be in a bit of trouble. But not a big deal this part. You should be okay with this. Again, the next section after this, not really much to it. Just the first thing I like to do anyways when I get up there is I chuck a wither horde or chuck grenade at that door, so as soon as it unlocks and all the ads come pouring out, they're like insta-killed, spawn-killed. Works out much easier. Not that it's a big deal anyways. And then I like to just jump to this little balcony here, because pushing in the front door, everyone's looking at you, and it's a lot tougher because the guys are like so much farther back. But if you push in here, much safer to do. There's a couple guys with the flails that'll freeze you, the stasis guys, so they'll come charging in this door. Just be ready for them. But a couple grenades, a barricade to blind them, whatever. Like, again, no big deal. Now there's an overload in here, and he's one of those nasty ones that's like a void sniper, so he's not a joke. So anyways, be mindful of him. And this is one of the sections where match game kind of is applicable. So usually there's a guy with the solar shield, and sometimes there's a guy with an arc shield. It's a little bit random, but again, this is kind of the only section where it is, so I still don't recommend having your loadout built solely for these guys' shields, just because it's not going to be a bother through the rest of the thing. Now, there's a solar shield in the boss room, just one, and the last phase, so... But still, I don't think it's worth the trouble of making your whole loadout just about these guys, because it's really not the biggest threat, or not the hardest part through this whole thing. That's just my opinion, though. If you want to, if it bothers you a whole bunch, by all means, have some kind of loadout or a solar weapon, but totally up to you. Now again, for this next part that you move into, it's like kind of this dark long hallway there with a bunch of exploding screams and an overload at the far back. I don't want to get too caught up in this, and just if you don't know already, this is the one spot where if you have any kind of heavy ammo drop anywhere in it, you should ignore it. Do not pick it up. Even if you think you need it right now, it's honestly, it's more important that it stays there for during the boss fight, because the boss is going to send you back here. Honestly, after this room, you're probably going to get a heavy brick drop right away anyways, and your heavy ammo solved for the meantime. But in the boss room, heavy's going to be kind of important to you, especially if you're solo. So if a heavy brick drops, just leave it. Just leave it. You'll pick it up when you're killing the boss. Okay? Okay. Oh, and for this overload, just a little tip here, if you want to make it just slightly easier on yourself for no reason. Not that it's hard anyways, but this is easier. Jump on that vase, jump up on, whoops, I missed. Hold on, let me try this one more time. Jump on the vase, and then jump up here, and then you'll see you got like a really nice line of sight on this overload. So, yeah, just a quick like kind of thing to make it just slightly more simpler, a little bit more stress-free, and that's what we're going for, right? Let's have a stress-free GM solo run. Now, the next major checkpoint here, as soon as you jump into this area here, you're gonna have 2 unstoppables spawn right away. So if you're using Wither Horde, place one down, stun them instantly. But where I like to hang out with is the left side, right up top here. So you'll see I got some cover. There's like the, I don't know, the little decorative giant squares here. You can hide behind here, and you're 100% safe from the overload. So, and they'll charge right up to you, and it'll be a little bit scary. And maybe your heart will start beating a little faster, but you're totally cool. They won't actually come around the corner. So, you know, you're good to hide from here. They'll both come up here sometimes, making it even easier. So you can kind of casually take them out, stun them, throw some grenades, whatever. Yeah, and also, it's the same thing on the right-hand side. I just prefer the left-hand side. I think maybe because I'm left-handed. Maybe. Anyways, quick, easy way to do the unstoppable. Well, not quick, but an easy way to do the unstoppables. Now, there's 2 plates here you have to capture, and the rules changed from the first plate that we captured like a little while ago here. Now, the rule that's different is ads don't stop coming. So before, ads would stop after 7 waves, and then in peace you could clear the plate. So you don't have that luxury anymore. You have to clear all the ads while doing the plate. Now, you still have to do 30 seconds on the plate, same as last time, but at the 15-second mark, like halfway through, there's going to be a yellow bar captain that's going to spawn in. He's going to have a void shield, and that's going to be the same on both sides. Now, what I like to do for this, just personally, is I like to do the right-hand side here, and the reason for that is it's easier. It's the easier side, in my opinion. So when you're here, nothing spawns behind you. They're going to spawn from right here. So they spawn here, here, and here. And the captain's going to spawn right here. Nothing behind you. Sometimes a random scream, but let's not talk about the random things that happen. Now, I'll use my super on this part, the bubble. Usually, honestly, just from habit, even if I don't need to do it, I'll still pop my bubble as soon as that captain spawns in, just for safety's sake, I guess. But I'll do this one first, and then we'll go to the other side. Now, why I think this one's a little bit harder, and also why I save it for last, is this reason, because ads will spawn from here, here, and here. So basically from behind you. So you got to constantly be turning in circles. Now the captain's going to spawn right here. Now, because I used my super on the last one, I don't have my super at the start of this one. So what I'll do for this one is I get on there and I try to last the 15 seconds. As soon as the captain spawns at the 15-second mark, I book it. Now, most of the ads won't follow you. Some of the screeps will, but the captain will always follow you. So what I like to do is take the captain away from the group, kill the captain, and then I go back in. So sometimes I'll clear up a few of the screeps, a few of the ads, but don't bother killing too many, because if you kill too many, just another wave's going to spawn in, right? So it makes it kind of pointless. But if you want, you can keep killing enemies from a distance until you have your super back. So your super you'll get it back much faster because you're killing enemies, and then you can head back in to finish off the plate. You already did the 15 seconds. It continues from where you left off, so you only have like another 15-ish seconds to go if you do it that way. Now, after you have it clear, you can stay and clean up all the trash if you want, or you can just friggin' book it. So here you're going to see me book it to the opposite side of the map and then jump up to the next section. So for me, definitely not hard. Honestly, the first plate probably harder when you're solo, my opinion anyways, but that's just me. So for team play, I wouldn't really do much different, just knowing where the enemies spawn. Just pick positions accordingly. Only one person has to be on the plate. The other two members can take up a position where they can kind of clean up the ads as soon as they spawn in my opinion. It's always better to kill the ads as soon as they spawn in. Don't let them run around and spread out. Take them out as a group. Anyways, that's it for this part. Now the next section's really nothing to it. There's an unstoppable. You activate this portal, you go through this portal. Again, just like that dark hallway, any heavy drops you get here, you want to ignore them. Don't touch them. Go out of your way to not pick up heavy, because you want to save it for the boss fight, because this is where the boss will take you in between the second and last phase. So just watch out for that. Also, there's the guys with the stasis kind of flails running around. They just constantly do laps around this whole thing. So just because you don't see them at the beginning doesn't mean you're not going to see them when you're halfway there. And the last thing you want is when you're dealing with that overload at the far end to have these guys run into you. It's a bit a nuisance, to say the least. Yeah. Now that old overload that's over there, just careful for him. He's one of those sniper ones. So depending what your resilience mods are, or just your resilience in general, he could one-shot you. That's not cool. So definitely don't be too cocky around him either. But that's it. So moving on to almost the last section before the boss. Now, I don't want to waste too much of your time talking about needless things, but just here, there's two overloads. What I like doing is jumping up on the top floor, the mezzanine floors here on the left and right, mezzanine, and taking out. Just watch out for their lanterns. But from the top here, way easier to get these two overloads at the same time. You can kind of avoid one and get the other one. If you don't like the one side, switch to the opposite side. Anyways, moving on to the bridge section. Now, the bridge section, not that bad, but a couple little nuances with it. As soon as you activate this area, it's going to have two mini bosses. One's going to charge you, one's going to stay at the back. Now, which one charges you is kind of random. So it's either going to be the guy with the fire, heaven forbid, that's not the fun one to get, or it's going to be the one that shoots the arc bouncy balls, I guess they are. So if you get the one with the arc bouncy balls, that's a good thing, trust me. But take out the one, obviously, that's charging you, and then from a distance or with your heavy or whatever you can afford to use, take out the one that's at the farthest away. Now, there's a few immune lanterns that might go up. There's a bunch of grenades that might come at you, so watch out for that. But other than that, not a big deal as long as you're able to do it from a distance. But there's two unstoppables in the back. Now, the thing with these unstoppables, if you push them to take them out, which is totally fine, just be ready for one to get glitchy with you. He's going to be on the left or he's going to be on the right. You're going to walk up there and he's just going to magically appear right in front of you. It's going to suck a little bit, but it only sucks if you're not ready for it. So if you're ready for it, cool. That's all. And then you're on to the boss section. Alright, so Birthplace of the Vile boss. It's not a cheesy boss. It's a newer strike, so it's not going to have much cheeses because Bungie learns their lesson. So it's separated into 3 phases. And how it works is in each phase, you're going to be fighting the boss who's going to be running around the map trying to stomp you while enemies are spawning in at the same time. As you kill the enemies, more enemies are going to spawn in. But it's not forever. After 7 waves of enemies, that's it. No more enemies, and you can just focus on the boss. So you have a couple options. One, you can damage the boss as you're dealing with ads, and then try and just burn him down as fast as possible so he can teleport you out so you can take a breather. You can pick up any heavy bricks that you left on the ground in those previous sections and then move on to the next section. Or the safer, more casual way is you're going to just be solely focused on the ads. You're going to avoid the boss all the time, and I'll show you a couple easy ways to avoid the boss. And you're just going to clear the ads until they stop spawning. Once they stop spawning, then it's just you and the boss in a room. And when it's just you and the boss in a room, he's super easy. No problem at all. So, how it works to be safe is, first, your position on the map. So, the way I see it, you have 2 options. One, you can do laps. Counterclockwise, clockwise, doesn't matter, but laps along the outside track of the room here to stay safe. Or, if you don't like that idea, you can hang out in this corner here or this corner here. Now, if you're a camper and you want to hang out in the corner, I would suggest having like really good grenade accuracy, because that's probably going to be your main way to clear ads. And what you have to do, no matter which method, if you're a runner doing laps or if you're a camper in the corners, you still have to clear the ads as they spawn. So, like I was saying, if you're a camper and you can hit a group ad spawning on the opposite side of the room with a grenade without really leaving your safe little corner there, by all means do that. That's probably the best thing to do for you. If you don't have confidence in your grenade aim or whatever method you have of wiping out the ads as they spawn, then I suggest you just stay in motion and do laps around the room. Now, besides that, I think the next most important thing is knowing what enemies you're fighting. So that changes depending on what phase you are in the boss room. So for phase 1, you have Ravagers and Stalkers. So that's the guys with the fire flails that'll shoot fire at you. Not as big a deal. And that's the little meager ads, the little weak guys that like to throw a ton of grenades. So, for example, if you're not taking care of ads and you're also a camper, they're just going to chuck void grenades at you and you'll probably end up wiping from that. So that's phase 1. Now for phase 2, it's Lurkers and Wraiths. So that's like the guys with the fire batons that like to smack you in the head with them. And then it's also the guys with like those old style kind of, not Roman shields, but those old like Spartan shield guys that, they have the metal shields and they're bulletproof. By far the easiest out of the ads, that's the phase 2, I think. And then phase 3 is definitely the most dangerous, and you need to pay attention because that's Ravagers again and Raiders. So Ravagers this time are the stasis ones, again by themselves, not a big deal. You can always run away from them easy enough. But the Raiders, man, those are the guys with the void guns that have like the tracking bullets. Like they got great aim, and it's a void burn, and they'll just chew you up alive if you're not paying attention to them. So I think if any team or person or solo is going to wipe, it's going to be in phase 3, and it's going to have to do with the ads. So you need to pay attention to the ads, especially in that one. Now, above all that, each phase is going to start with a champion. So phase 1, there's overload that's going to spawn. It's always going to spawn with the boss. So whatever method you have to clear him out, by all means, if you're using, say, Le Monarch, you can do him from a distance. Maybe you pop a bubble. Personally, I'd rather just pop a bubble right on top of the boss, right where the overload spawns, because I got my grenade stun him too, and I'm just going to throw a grenade, pop my bubble, throw another grenade, and I'm just going to focus on the overload and just get rid of them like ASAP. And honestly, that's my personal method for all the champions in this room. That's what my bubble is for. So it's not for dealing damage to the boss, it's for the champions at the start of each phase. So like you just seen, that's the overload. I just pop my bubble on them, take them out. Same thing with the unstoppable. Now you'll notice with the unstoppable, and also for phase 3, but they're going to spawn in random different locations each time. So the way you tell which one it's going to be is whichever one's bigger. Just like right at the beginning there, whatever animation is the biggest in the room, that's where the champion's going to be. So I beeline it right to there, pop my bubble as he's spawning in, stun him, kill everything that's there. Now with the unstoppable, there's going to be just a regular ass abomination. Take him out at the same time. Why not? And for the phase 3, another overload. This time he's going to have a Scorn Captain with him with the solar shield. But again, I find him instantly, I pop my bubble on him, and I just take him out of here as soon as possible, because kind of the safest thing for me anyways, is to get rid of those guys. Now, there's lots of other ways to do it. You don't have to pop the bubble right on top of them. I'm sure if you're doing this solo, you probably have a method to burn down a champ like super fast. So use whatever method you have for that. But I'm gonna guess that it's probably has to do with your super, and you got lots of time to save your super in between phases when it sends you into that other room. Like you can just wait to go through that portal till you have your super, and you probably have your super anyways because you're playing solo and you get it back so fast from doing damage. Now, other than that, for other tips, really is the other main tip besides all of that is your worst pet peeve in this entire thing, and that's the boss's immunity lanterns that he spawns. Just if you see one of them, just again, kill it. Like, it's the worst thing in the world when there's an immunity lantern and you're like, well, it's not close to anything, and you don't kill it. And then the next wave of ads spawns right on top of it, and they're like auto-immune because you didn't get there in time. Do you know what I mean? So even if it seems like it's not a threat or it won't be a hassle and you can still shoot it, just shoot the lantern, I tell you. And that's it really. Like, those are the only things going through my head when I'm doing this, and honestly it feels not so sweaty, not as sweaty as you think it would be having to run around and having this type of roaming boss. So the only things going through my head is, one, ads are the priority. I have to kill the ads. I save my super first for the champions, but if I feel I have time to squeeze another one off on the boss or to clearing up ads, I'll go ahead and do it. Lanterns, it's always red alert when I see a lantern, and like, that's it. So if I have to choose between damage to the boss or damage to ads, I focus on ads. That's it. So I'm either always moving or I'm hiding in a corner. Okay, now for team play, not really anything changes. All the work stays the same. It's just you have more people to do the same amount of work. That's all. So it's like way easier that way. You can do a couple things. One, you can assign one person to ad duty. Their job is to just kill ads. They hear that spawning and they're like a shark and they go attack wherever they're spawning, kill everything on spawn. As a team, anyone that sees a lantern, you guys all kill it together. So if I see a lantern, I kill it. If my other buddy sees a lantern, I expect them to kill it because that can screw up a team. While the guys on ad duty, the other two are on boss killing duty, and you get through the phases like just so much faster. And I'm not going to talk about synergies with like maybe rockets and that stuff like that. It works great. I mean, run whatever your team's comfy with. That's all. Now, communication, also a big deal. So if a guy on ad duty can't make it across the map in time to clear a wave of ads, just call it out and be like, ads coming, I can't get them. And then the other people know, okay, we're going to take over ads for this one wave, that kind of thing. So as long as you guys are talking, like, shouldn't be a big deal. Just remember, as a team, the most dangerous wave is phase 3, just because of those raiders and their tracking shots. Like, they got impeccable aim, and it's void, and it hurts like hell. So yeah, that's it. So as far as new strikes go, I mean, I wasn't really sure about this one. I thought there was a chance it was gonna be crazy hard because I didn't really remember it from the first season, honestly, because I didn't pay attention to that because Lightblade had all my attention. But for this one, not that bad. I mean, medium, not the easiest for sure, but definitely not the hardest. Have fun with it though. Hopefully this helped you. If you did like it, right, please a like, a subscribe. That's cool. I'm supposed to say that, aren't I? Am I? I don't know. All right, that's it.